Yvonne Guibert here.
Hey there, Rafael Gonzalez here.
And we are coming at you from Tampa, Florida, and we are so excited to be joined today by Steve Ehretsman. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Rafael. How are you?
We are great. And where are you joining us from today?
Athens, Georgia.
Athens, Georgia. Awesome.
Go Bulldogs, huh? What a year.
Correct.
Woo-wee.
Absolutely. Got a long ways to go, but a good year so far.
It's looking good. It is looking good.
Absolutely.
That's great. So we are talking to you today because we just had the 2021 Comp Laude Awards, and we had a ceremony, and you were the recipient of one of our 2021 awards. So how did that make you feel?
I'm still shocked. I mean, people talk about it, they should pinch you and stuff when you get an award. I really, for this kind of group and for this organization, just this whole ceremony, I'm completely shocked that I'm getting this award, and I call it a team award. It's all my employees at Shamrock Prosthetics, but what an honor. I don't, sometimes words can explain things, and I don't know if there are words that can explain how much of an honor this is for me.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And so before we move on, so your award, your category was in the service provider or vendor category. And that's the award that you got. And so I appreciate you saying that it's a team effort. We've heard that a lot, it takes a village. So tell us a little bit about what it is that Shamrock Prosthetics does. Sure.
I started Shamrock 6.5 years ago. I was an injured worker 20 years ago myself that resulted in a below the knee amputation. And I struggled with a lot of the mental side early on and the opioids and potential suicide. And when I vowed to learn from it and to grow from it, I had purpose for the first time in my life. And so for the first 29 years, I think I was chasing after a dollar in a position in the corporate America world. And the last 20 years, as now an amputee, I have the greatest purpose that I've been blessed to have. And I've been given a gift from the God above. We help injured workers, and we help private pay. We help all patients that are having an amputation or about to have an amputation. We look at a mind-body amputee care approach that is very, very unique and differentiated in the industry. So we address the mind before surgery. That can be a great challenge because nobody wants to sign up for an amputation. And once they do find out, normally that conversation is very quick with their surgeon. And then they're left to complete chaos in their mind. So I have 2 other amputees on staff that we call ourselves patient advocates, and we go see them before surgery and address the mental challenges to the physical challenges they're about to have. We consider ourselves kind of like mental coaches. We're going to hopefully inspire and give them hope and show them the authenticity we have as amputees, and very functional ones.
I love that. I'm glad I asked that question so that we can understand more about what it is that you do. It's really, really something. I've heard your story before, and I hope we continue to hear about you and your company and the things that you guys are doing. Ralph, what questions do you have?
Well, before we get to questions, Steve, you are changing people's lives for the better every single day, man. Both Yvonne and I were moved by your nomination and by your story and the personal component that you bring to it, let alone, the business you've created and the mentality behind it, right? That helping folks understand what's about to happen,
sure,
go through it. I mean, incredible, just really amazing. So more than anything, I wanted to say how grateful we are as an industry for the kind of work that you're doing, for the kind of help that you're assisting injured workers through. I have the greatest respect and admiration for the work that you're doing. So congrats on that.
And thank you so much, Rafael. I mean, it coming from, and I will say this, you're a legend in my eyes and a legend in many others, many others in the comp, space. And I would say to have that come from you, that means more than you'll probably ever even realize. So thank you for that.
Truly my pleasure, man. You've earned it. You really have. So give us a little bit, what does this mean to you personally, to your company, to your family, to be recognized by the industry in this manner? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's my Shamrock family first, and I'm going to say that 17 employees. I started with 3, and now we're at 17, and we have a second office that we are going to be launching in 2022, and bringing on more staff. But this is a team effort. Certainly, the leader has to lead by example, and I don't like suits, that I wear. I don't wear them every day. I don't wear them hardly at all, except if I'm on an interview like this. I'm not sitting behind a desk every day. If I'm doing my job right and leading by example, then I'm on the road seeing patients in hospitals and dealing with them and dealing with the mental anguish. What this award means, and to be nominated by Brad Gronke and Michael Ridman, and to be nominated and now win this award, I words can't express. I mean, when you talk about this, the Comp Laude Awards is something where it's the elite of the elite. And to be in that and to be recognized in that, it has its good and its bad. And I'll tell you, the good is that you're among some elite individuals. The bad is that this is something that I better grow from and continue to, it better be a catapult for me to work even harder. And I like working hard, but this has now shot some steroids in me, and I don't take drug tests, so I didn't take steroids, but this is something where it shot steroids in me to work even harder to help more people.
Well, I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think that's a very positive thing. So, I mean, I guess knowing you, I guess what it could be bad is that means you have to work even more hours, I guess. But, what I would say
wouldn't change it for a day. Wouldn't change it for a day, Mom.
What I would say is, and this is a conversation that Raphael and I have quite often, is I love that it has inspired you because you have such an inspirational story already. But one of the questions that I was going to ask is, how can we create more leaders like you? I mean, obviously you have a very unique story, but I love how you've taken your experience, and this is part and parcel of what Comp Laude is all about. Yep. The mission has always been about, at the core of it, recognizing that no matter where you are in this industry, at the center of whatever you're doing is an injured worker who needs help, who needs guidance, who needs direction, who needs inspiration and hope. And it sounds to me like you've been able to package all that together. I love what you talked about, having the mind, body, amputee approach. I mean, Ralph, how amazing would it be if every vendor out there approached their work in this way?
No, I know. And Steve, to hear you talk about, and I mean, I'm inspired by it, right? That this recognition, does even more that for you, right? That now you bear this responsibility that if I thought I was doing great, I've got to, step it up another level. Yeah. Because I feel exactly the same way, right? When people say things, I recognize you, man, that makes me, okay, I got to kick it up 1,000%. Yep. I got to go. Yeah. As an ex-college athlete, and growing up that way, I think the athletic side for me always taught you to be bigger, faster, and stronger. And it was, you never rest on, well, I was a starter last year, so I'm going to be a starter this year. And I've always kind of brought that into the business world and just said, you're only as good as yesterday.
Right.
I think for leaders, I don't know if I would say they're born. It's something you have to want to do. And, being injured, 20 years ago, I didn't right away say, hey, I want to help other amputees and I want to have my own prosthetic business to change the landscape of how amputee care is. I didn't do that right away. I actually went into some deep depths to then find out what is, and I'll go back to the faith side. What is God's purpose for me? And when I finally embraced that, that's when, I think I was blessed and I was given a gift to be a leader. When you're actually dealing with the experience you had yourself, it gives you so much more passion, in my opinion, than just working at a facility. So when it's about what the challenges, the pitfalls, the problems that I had, and now creating the solutions for those problems or pitfalls at Shamrock so that no other injured worker has those same pitfalls, that's my daily passion. And you can only learn that by experience. That's where I say it's a gift.
Ralph and I were talking about this earlier today, that everybody has a unique story to tell, and certainly you do. So thank you for sharing that. So
absolutely.
the other thing that strikes me, and Raphael, I want to hear your thoughts on this too, but here we have another injured worker who's taken a situation that wasn't great and turned it into a really positive, not only experience for yourself, Steve, but you're influencing so many others. So Ralph, again, I'm going to ask both of you, how do we bottle this? How do we do this more often? How do we make that happen?
Yvonne and I, Steve, earlier today, we did a presentation on finding your courage.
Sure.
And we both spoke about personal examples, very, very personal, deep examples of challenges in our lives.
Sure.
And how we needed time, and you just spoke about that. It doesn't happen overnight. You really need to figure out, okay, what does this mean? And what happens next? And how can I embrace, if that's the right word, this, and how do I then move forward? And I think that's, Yvonne, the answer is, we're talking about it, and we need to, figure out, where does all this sit so that we can then stabilize and say, okay, here's the plan, right? Here's what we're going to do. What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
Yeah, I think that adversity, I'll go back to the one word in being adversity, and that is that people have to learn how to battle through adversity. And I think one of the challenges is that you can define adversity in so many ways. My mom is the greatest woman in America, in my opinion. And if I ever lose her, I don't know how I'd be. I can't even imagine that. But other people and friends of mine, they've lost a mom or a dad, and I or a husband. I can't even fathom it. But then some people look at me and say, I can't fathom that you lost your leg. And I look at it as just relative. I was given a gift, and I do everything that I did before. But going back to that word adversity, it happens daily. Look at what COVID has done. Yeah. Look at what, we now have, challenges financially in our country. Inflation, we have supply chain challenges. So if we don't learn how to be stronger and try to grow from adversity, then we continue, in my opinion, to go down a bad road, and that is we ignore it or we fail to it. So I'm going to hit it square in its mouth and say, if adversity is something that gives you an opportunity to learn from and grow from, only if you choose to do so.
Well, and it's the only way to, and that's what we talked about earlier today, it's the way we build resilience. Going through adversity allows you to build resilience. And that's something we definitely need to do. So I'm super inspired by your story, Steve. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. There's so many thoughts going through my head right now. Like I said, I'm inspired by the fact that we're finally, I feel like we're finally starting to hit our stride. As I said earlier, the Comp Laude event was started with one thing in mind: to change the narrative of our industry to a more positive dialogue, and also to remind every person, no matter where you are in this industry, at the center of your conversation needs to be focused on the injured worker. So I'm super inspired by the fact that we're starting to see more and more injured worker stories bubble up to the top. So we have you as a winner this year, and not only have you won an award, but you started a company that's super inspirational. Our top award this year was won by an injured worker, not even in this country, from Australia. And wow. I'm so inspired by that. I think we need to hear more from injured workers. And I think there's a lot we can learn and a lot we can do differently to influence this industry in a positive way.
I mean, I think what the platform that you guys, you've developed is something that it's not going away. It's only getting bigger. And to get through the virtuals, I haven't been to the in-person. I've only seen pictures, but I can't wait to be a part of it. And to be one of those guys that they say, well, he won an award. I don't know how that will be for me walking around saying, I can walk next to Raphael. I can't walk next to you because you're a legend. So I got to continue to work 10 times harder to even one day be as blessed as you are on the impact that you make.
Oh, Steve, man, You are a superstar. I mean that. You really are. You've inspired us. You're showing us every day how to be better. You really are. You're changing injured workers' lives every single day. It doesn't get any better than that. So don't sell yourself short. I'm the one who really is grateful. You know, we're going to have a selfie together next year.
No, I can't wait. I've seen them, and I can't wait to be a part of that selfie. Can't wait.
And we're going to have you as a guest on our podcast as well. So we'll have to do that quick. So before I let you go, I do see that you have your award there behind you. So
I do.
Yeah, I do as well.
So we can see it up close and personal.
I do. It is something that is right there, and then I've got that. So that sits on my desk. And as I told you, I'm not here at the office that much, because if I'm doing my job right, I better not be sitting at my desk. But what an honor, that I have that sitting on my desk. I just still am absolutely amazed.
Oh, well, I think that, I feel that Rafael, like he said, we're the ones that are lucky to be able to chat with you and talk with you and learn from you. So I'm going to go on the record right now and say a couple of things. So next year we are going to be back in Huntington Beach, October 2nd through the 4th. So mark your calendars, and you will be able to join us as an alumni. And so that will be super special. And one of the things I'd like to see happen for next year, I've got some work to do to make this happen, but as I said, I'm super inspired by the number of injured worker stories we're starting to see bubble up, and I want to see more of those. We now have a pretty good number of years where we've had injured worker finalists. So you won in the vendor category, but we also have injured worker finalists that have won awards. I'd love to start pulling together those stories and publishing the stories in a manner that I think there's just so much of sharing your stories that are going to help individuals in this industry be better, do better, and be inspired to make it better for everybody.
I'm happy to be every bit a part of anything that you both want to do. And my story, there are many other people doing a lot more and a lot better stuff than I'm doing. I've been given, I tell you, I've been given a gift, and to use that gift for the betterment of others, or to be what I would call a servant leader, is what I lead and do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we certainly appreciate that. And before we close out here, I want to ask you one final question. You shared a lot of your thoughts, and we really appreciate that. But what's the one message or takeaway that you'd like to leave with the industry before we close out this interview today?
I think that ambulance is going to go by, because I'm right down the street from the hospitals where our office is. So sorry about that audio. One final thing to share with the audience would be I would say two things. One, adversity happens, and learning and battling through that adversity, but learning from it would be the key takeaway, because that'll make you grow. And the second thing is that find your passion. And once you find your passion, if that's a gift that's been given to you, then full speed ahead and make that be everything that you do. And if that is being, I always look from the strategy of being beyond you. Everything should be beyond me. And for that, don't ever give up. That's a Jim Valvano speech, but keep going. As you said, Rafael, is that the ladder keeps getting higher. When you get an award like this, now there's more expected of you. Well, I actually look at it in self-inspection and say, there's more than I expect of myself now. This is an elite group that I have now been chosen and honored to be a part of. And it's going to affect me. It has already affected me. It continued to inspire me, but it also, that same passion is the problem with me is I've got a lot of passion, and my staff certainly knows that. So it's something that I'm going to push my staff to continue to even do more, better outcomes, better experience every day, because it better be beyond them also. It better be about that injured worker.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Ralph, any last words?
So meaningful, Steve. It really is, man. Just awesome, incredible. I really am. We're inspired by you, and we're so grateful. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you both. If you both are down in Florida at the WCI, I'm actually going for the first time this year. I'd love to see you both in person.
Oh, yes.
If it's a selfie, if it's a nice ice cold beverage, whatever it is, I can't wait for that time.
Oh, we've got a special treat for you. We're actually going to have a little special event, and we're going to actually do some salsa dancing and have some awesome music.
I don't know if I signed up for that. I don't know if I'm a basketball player from the Midwest. I've got one leg and I'm bald. I don't know if I'm doing salsa dance.
Okay. The whole point is to have fun and get to know each other better. So that's what it's all about.
So let's definitely do it. Let's connect. We can definitely spend some time down there. Absolutely.
We'll do.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, again, congratulations, Steve. Thank you for joining us today. And I know that we'll see you soon in Florida, and we will continue the conversation.
Thank you both. What an honor. What an honor.
Thanks, Steve. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hasta luego.